Should Marcus Rashford be sold by Manchester United? This is one of those topics that is very, very sensitive. And today, Premier 7 would like to have a say on this. This video needs your subscription. This video needs your likings and also your comment, which will be very instrumental. So make we see what go on the channel.
Premier 7.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to this video production as I am here to present on a player of importance, a player that dominated the English Premier League, helping Manchester United to clinch third spot last season in the Premier League. But this season has been very horrendous, underwhelming based on his performance. And that is a man that I would say owns the Stretford in Manchester United at Old Trafford. And I want to know what you think and what you say as well as should Marcus Rashford be sold by Manchester United? It is a very sensitive topic, as was expressed earlier on, because this guy is not the only player who has been performing poorly for the club. You have players before last season, long before, that aren't up to expectations, that aren't contributing tactically to Ten Hag's formation, but they're still there. But is it a case in which Rashford still needs a chance at Manchester? Because there's something about him, whenever the going gets tough, he doesn't look as if he wants to be there. And I have some statements or some talks to put forward to justify if he should be sold. And then again, it is always for you the fans as well on Premier 7 to let me know what you think on this topic. So it's all about taking a dive deep into the hot topic, $1 million question, if Rashford time is up at Manchester United. It is now the international break though, and possibly he could recuperate and reinvent himself and come back on the scene to dominate. Similar to that of the time when he went to the World Cup, he came back on a form that was world class. But does lightning strike twice for him? We never know, but we know that Usain Bolt was that person who struck lightning more than two times. Now, before jumping to our early conclusion, which would not make any sense, let's speak about Rashford, right? And his performances over the years. Since bursting on the scene as a youngster who has graduated from the academy, Rashford has shown immense potential, quickly earning a place in the starting 11, right? For both club and country. Remember when he burst on the scene for Manchester United? I think it was under the management of Louis van Gaal, and he scored against Arsenal and he scored against some other teams. I can remember a game for which I watched when he scored the winner against Wolves. He was so useful, he was so impactful, he was so important. And that continued, but he have his time when he's bitter cold or bittersweet. But the thing that we know about Rashford is that he have lightning speed. He's skillful in terms of dribbling. When he's in top gear or in top form, he's a clinical finisher. Amongst the top or the frontline players of Manchester United. He is more impactful, he is more pivotal, he is more clinical, but he's not the player that we are seeing right now. And speaking about his characteristics when he's in top gear, he's a nightmare for opposition defenders. But it's not just what he do on the pitch that makes him special, but what he do off the pitch. Before I speak about the pitch thing, because most persons are, let's say football fans, don't really care about what he's doing off the pitch, but just to put across that Rashford has become a role model off the field, right? Using his platform to fight against social justice or fighting for social justice, right? And making a difference in the life of persons, young child who are at disadvantage. He provide and link with the government to provide meals for those youngsters because they're in poverty, and he take it upon himself and earn himself on that level to be recognized as a global sensation in England and worldwide. He is really admired and he's really praised for what he has done. And I have to take that out of the way to let persons remember that he is human as well, but he's a player that you can say you would want your child to admire because several times footballers aren't what you think they are on the pitch. But not going to speak about that, not going to go down the road on that, was just giving him some credit in regards to his good works off the pitch. But the main thing about Rashford as a player, even when he was doing the good things off the pitch, whenever it comes back to the pitch for him to play the football, he has been inconsistent in front of goal and occasionally he dips in the form and it affects his side, affects the team, and it normally looks as if it is time for him to be sold. He is not the worst player this season, but for a player who is very impactful or heavily relied on, it is for him to improve on that. But at the age of 26, do you think the team is properly built to help Rashford, or do you think it is time for him to leave and go to somewhere else? Because there has been arguments that Rashford needs to be more reliable and consistent as a goal scorer, whereas a team is in need of a main person to lead the attacking force, and he is that main person. Garnacho is not. Martial should be sold, so it's not a question right here for him. Rasmus is coming on. Sancho is going away. I think Juventus wants him, but Rashford is that main person, and you could see that presence that he brought upon himself whenever he stepped on the pitch. He always wants the ball, he always wants to dominate, he always wants to make a difference, but he's not doing so consistently. So the thing is, on the other hand, many believe that Rashford's potential and impact off the field makes him irreplaceable. So, with the right guidance and support, he could develop into one of the world's best forward. Because remember, he have a good reputation off the pitch and is a person as well or a player that helps Manchester United to be great. If you watch WWE on the games, you have the face of WWE on those cartridges or on those CDs. The face that runs the place, like Randy Orton, like John Cena, those top profile wrestlers. It is the same for Marcus Rashford at Manchester United. He helps the club to get a lot of attraction in terms of commercial deals, a lot of sponsorship, a lot of shirt sales. So he doesn't have to be out there doing all of those things, but a lot of persons would come by to say they're coming to watch Manchester United because of him. And if Rashford should leave Manchester United, then it could be a downward spiral in regards to those things. But is it a case in which you want to watch Manchester United being a commercial based club, or you want to see Manchester United being a club that performs at the highest level and kicking back things into top gear? So the ultimate decision, though, it rests with the management, and it is a tough call, though. But I think Rashford is that player that can improve, but it is too often that he has been inconsistent. But do you prioritize him to succeed as a Manchester United forward? Because the thing is, he's the most reliant player Even though not consistent, he will be the person who can score goals. But I get to understand that in the game of football, whenever it comes on to consistency, Rashford is not that person that is up to that scratch. But who else is there to replace him at Manchester United? No one is there to do so. So let's have a look on Rashford profile though, in regards to his historic details for Manchester United in the Premier League. So we know he can play several positions. He can play left mid, right mid, right wing, centre forward, but mainly as a left winger. So he has been at the club for more than 5 years. Burst on the scene in 2015-16. Now it is 2023-24. Um, 11 appearances, 32, 35. Let's say overall 250 appearances in Manchester United colours. In bad team, in good teams, in mediocre team, in average teams, in teams that you can look on, but he dominates in 2 seasons that I can remember as well. In season 19 and 20, well, season 19 to 20, he did very well, 17 goals in 31 appearances, 9 assists. And for season last term, 35 appearances, 17 goals, and 5 assists. So he did fairly well again. However, this season, 11 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist. What is happening to Rashford? It can be several factors. It can be a case in which Rashford is not enjoying his stay at Manchester anymore. Rashford thinks within himself that the team needs to improve as well. He likes to be the main man, but it is very pressuring, and he wants to be that player who can be relied on compared to players like Mbappe and Haaland, but he dropped off way off form. But I mean, looking at this, he starts in many games, 87 minutes, 15 goal participation. That means that he is not the player that he was. Still on huge money as well, high contract, 75 million euros is his price tag. I hate to see those things because when players are so expensive and not playing properly on the pitch, then something needs to be done in regards to improving their performances. However, as I've said before, it is in the courts of the management to decide if Rashford time is up at the club. But I mean, United fans do stress it that he needs to go, but it is only for time to tell and see how well he can fit. I think if he performs poorly throughout the entire season, then they have to get some money for him, get rid of some other players, and get in some players who are hungry and can contribute to the club and also be fit enough and can take on all of those hard tasks that comes in the name of the club. So I just want to speak about something differently though in regards to um, key players who has been there for no one in the past. So Bruno Fernandes has been out of form, but he's still putting in a shift. In the past, you have Edinson Cavani, Mason Greenwood, even Cristiano Ronaldo, but they were firepower and they created a very dangerous attacking force, attacking department that makes Rashford more expendable. However, they are not there anymore due to different reasons. Greenwood, you know what happened, Ronaldo, you know what happened, Cavani, injury prone, but he was very instrumental. Bruno is still there. But is it a case in which those players were contributing to Rashford being that elite type of player? Maybe, maybe not. But Rashford needs to do something about his own performances because from what I know Rashford, I think he's a very selfish player a lot of times in terms of making useful passes. I think he may be thinking differently of himself, having too much high expectation, and it affects his game play, affects his teams as well. But for me, Rashford isn't the Rashford that he should be. Still young at 26, but he's coming to his peak age and he needs to get better off. However, let's speak about selling Rashford though. Because if they decide to sell Marcus Rashford, it could provide Manchester United with significant financial resources, which could be reinvested in strengthening other areas of the squad. Not bypassing those players who are crap though, like Maguire, who found a farm, but he still needs to be sold. McTominay, I think Martial should go, Sancho should go. So those players should be sold before even Rashford. But because the focus is on Rashford, I have to speak about Rashford. But those players are to be sold before him. So with the current economic climate at Manchester United, it needs for a consistent success. And the club needs to get more or be more proactive in their decision making and consider long term sustainability for the club. Eric Ten Hag is a huge fan of Rashford, and even Rashford is not performing well, he's playing. Just like in the days of Oli, he still plays. But you cannot have a favorite player. You can have a world class player, but not a favorite player because it can affect other players' performances. Furthermore, Rashford still could potentially open opportunities for younger players within the club to step up and make their marks, but the club will still need club depth, squad depth as well. And this aligns with Manchester United's traditional philosophy of nurturing and developing their own players. So let me just close off by saying lastly, Rashford market value is currently at its peak though, and this could be an opportunity to capitalize on his potential though. By selling him now, Manchester United can secure a substantial transfer fee that can be used to bolster or let's say bolster their squad and enhance their competitiveness in both domestic and European competition. The thing is now, when you have players like Rashford in Manchester United's camp, it is hard to bench them. When you have players like such high profile players who are it's like they cannot be benched. It will affect the team chemistry, affect the fluency in terms of how the club should perform and what should be expected of the team. Look at Brighton, look at Liverpool. There are big names at those clubs, but I don't think their names are even if well, Salah is a better player than Rashford, and Rashford's name is even bigger than Salah. That is what I'm talking about. Players with that high name, high price tag not performing. You need to get rid of those players out of your club. It can become very toxic. But I leave it by you to say, to have your comments and to share your point as well, as if you think he should be sold. So it was something I had to share to the public, seeing that the international break is up and persons will be not having the Premier League to watch. So this video could help you to make a decision and to even think about the long-term future of supporting Manchester United and supporting the players with the hope of seeing things get better. So it is for you to have your say on this. All right, take care and bye bye.